What do you think about the wrestling in New York?
Oh, we were a little flat. I think wasn't wasn't our best outing by any means, but I think 3 weeks of traveling maybe a little bit caught up with us. Looking for some excuse, but it was very lethargic from our standpoint. But the last 2 days of our workouts have been really good. Yeah, it seems like we popped back.
I know they typically don't have homecoming for wrestling, but if a wrestling team deserved a homecoming ceremony, you guys did it. I mean, coast to coast.
Yeah, coast to coast. It's good to be home. I'll tell you that. Slap in the Southern Scuffle with it the week before it all. So anyway, it was a long stretch. We knew it would be going into it. Yeah, we came out of it okay. I don't think too many people got hurt. So just look forward to being at home for a weekend.
What do you think you came out of it as a team? I mean, obviously, almost every guy had some ups and downs over the 2 weeks, but did it make them stronger?
Oh, yeah, you hope so. That's kind of where we are. We've said it all along. This is going to be a real challenge, and we're going to have to meet those challenges, if we're going to do well. And so for us, it's each and every week it's a challenge. Winning dual meets is a challenge. There's no real give me right now. I think we'll probably see our lineup a little bit different this weekend. Could be, more than likely will be. And so we'll just keep pedaling along and see some of these guys just pop out. That's what you hope to see. Somebody just wrestle differently than we've seen them wrestle all year long, and that's what you're hoping to see.
You kind of hit a little bit around it, but at this point, as you guys are getting into the real serious part of your schedule, how comfortable are you with the lineup that you have right now?
Oh, I think it'll change. Most likely it will. I mean, and why I say that is just you don't go a whole season with somebody not getting dinged up or somebody not getting needs to sit out a match or so. I'm comfortable to say that probably going into this week we'll probably see a little bit of a change. Maybe in both dual meets, maybe in one dual meet. We'll see.
Coach, what do you think played into the inconsistencies of upper and lower weight classes? I know you had a little more balance in Sunday's win, but OU it took the upper weights. Minnesota there were a little more success with the lower weights. What plays into that inconsistency?
Well, it's just kind of where the beef of the team is, and what happened at 41 against Columbia. Wish we could have finished that match, but so again, a problem getting up off the mat. You don't get in that position if you get up off that mat. 65, it's good wrestling. Just hand it to Wyatt. 25 was a little surprising. Go from 1 week to the next week, and two different guys out there competing. So, but for the most part, I thought, I thought Plot kind of grinded through a match. Wasn't his best match, but he grinded through a match, and ended up stretching the score out in the third to win the match. We saw that from G. Feller as well. Picking up a takedown in the third period and separating the score. You like to see those when it's 1 point match, especially when you're leading and you pick up another takedown. That's whether not really don't matter if you haven't wrestled that well up to that point. Go do that. Just make sure. A lot of times it's good to win ugly, and I think for some of those matches this past weekend we won ugly, and I like that. That doesn't bother me.
Speaking of 41, Carter wrestles the top-ranked guy, Andrew Alirez, on Friday. What have you seen from Alirez, and what challenges would he pose for Carter?
He's good. He's real good. So we'll just say that. You better be good. Whoever better be good if he wrestles out the weight.
Is that Luke Serber the kind of Luke Serber you've expected to see all year?
I think you really need to do like research on the opponents that we're wrestling. It kind of helps you understand maybe. I mean, this is a kid that's I don't want to say that anything negative about the kid, but it's not that good.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he's supposed to do. And,
Right.
and then when you go out and you do what you're supposed to do, you love seeing that.
Right.
He went out and just scored, 17 points in the second, third period.
Right.
Love it. Yeah, and ended up winning 21-4, picking up a tech fall. So, let's. It's hard to really.
Don't throw a parade for that.
Yeah,
necessarily,
no, but you love seeing when you're supposed to go do something
Right.
like that. You go do it. You love seeing that, and so he's really seemed to be maturing right now, and he's doing a nice job of listening. And we've had some conversations over the last couple of weeks of not just assuming that you're ready, but don't be lazy with your mental part of the approach. Your approach every week. You need to be ready, and you need to approach it as you're ready.
His question was really good about 141 and the challenge on Friday night. But as a coach, and you were talking about a little bit there with Luke, treat every opponent with respect.
Yeah.
And go out like you're wrestling the number one guy every
Yeah.
week. I mean, do you
Yeah.
try and infuse that into those guys?
Well, you just work, I mean, this is
I know they're human, but
yeah, and it's some of these guys are still learning how to win. I guess that's the best way to put it. Learn how to win. Learn how to be consistent. Learning how to balance their attitudes during good times and bad times. Take me. I'm going to let you know following the match what I think about it, and then we're moving on, buddy. Let's go. So just taking it all in and making sure we stay good and balanced, and I think that if we can do that, we got an opportunity to grow.
you got West Virginia coming up too this weekend, and they're a Big 12 member. And I know you look big picture. You want this conference to be really dang good.
Mhm.
So at the West Virginia program, do you see, it seems like they're getting better.
9-1.
Yeah. Seems like they're climbing the ladder.
7-1.
again.
Northern Colorado 7-1. I mean, these teams are, they're on the move and looking good. And it's great. I love the fact that Oklahoma State and the Big 12 played a big part in making a difference for a lot of programs, and with that comes what we hoped, a very competitive conference. Very competitive. I mean, you go back 10 years, no. 8 years, no. But the last 2 or 3 years, it's been very competitive. Yeah, good. What you want to see and what you want to be.
What are some of those specifics that you've seen rise, like out of Northern Colorado and West Virginia? What are you seeing that's kind of elevating these programs over about the last
Well, I
decade
think
or so?
one, was you're going into the Big 12. One, kids will look at your program. You get to wrestle Iowa State, OSU, Wyoming, and so recruiting becomes maybe a little easier than what it was. I don't know. I'm sure that they'll tell you that. I'm sure they're recruiting on the fact that they're in the Big 12 and they get to wrestle a lot of good schools, and that definitely helps. And I think for Colorado, the state of Colorado has been elevated. It seems like in the last several years in high school, and it's made a difference for them.
What does a successful weekend look like for you guys? What does a successful weekend look like for you guys?
Oh, a lot of different things, but you hope that that we're, you take someone down and you can escape. It's hard to lose. So kind of compares. I mean, it's real important in the long run and down the road. If you're getting takedowns and you're getting escapes or reversals, you're winning a lot of matches, if not all of them. You know, doesn't mean that we don't want to ride or we don't want to turn, but definitely the importance of dual meets and winning tough, hard, competitive matches is takedowns and reversals and escapes.
Mastro, kind of a little bit like Young, he's got a chance to respond with a win on Friday. How did you kind of see him respond from the loss at Columbia over the last few days?
I really haven't seen him a whole lot, hadn't spent much time with him. So we'll kind of see what we're going to do at that weight this weekend.
Looking at 41 again, kind of looking at Alirez from your perspective, if you were wrestling him, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's not given up a takedown all year. So what do you do to get it? Like, how do you, technically wise, how do you get a guy? Like, how do you take him down, basically?
Go take him down. Take some work, take some penetration, take some finishes, get to the leg. You need to finish, you know, and so this guy has done a nice job of in the Southern Scuffle. I got a chance to see him wrestle, and I'll just say that he's impressive, and so doesn't mean that we can't go with him or we can't compete with him. It just means that it's going to take one of your better efforts up to this point.
In a year like this year where you emphasize development so much, how much has Coach Gary Cognando played in the development of some of your younger guys?
Huge, you know. It's keeping our guys strong and making sure that we're tested down there, and they walk out of that room in the weight room and they feel good and they feel good about what they're doing. And I think that's been a staple for us for a long time. I mean, that what he does down there has made a difference for us, not just in a year or two, but in the last 15 or 20. How long has it been? He's one of the best there is. I mean, he gets them ready.